And this video is on the sine area of a triangle. I wish there was a good name for this rule because it's always a bit uncomfortable. Sine area of a triangle, a bit strange. Okay. Again, so for some random triangle, and it does not matter what the not right angled or anything. It can be anything like that. So you probably already know Heron's formula, which is a formula for calculating area of a triangle that's not 90 degrees, no right angles in it or anything like that, or if you don't know the height, that sort of thing. This is another good way. Heron's formula is great. This is another good way of finding the area of a triangle. So what it says is basically if you know two of the lengths of two of the sides of the triangle, and you know the angle in between those two sides. It has to be the angle in between those two sides. And the area of the triangle is equal to half AB sine theta. Magic! It's really, really easy. A lot simpler than Heron's formula, a lot quicker. But that is a really great way to find the area. So that's it. That's all there is to it. So if you just imagine, it doesn't, as long as you know, so if you've got similar, but you know this is A and this, if you know 2 there, it must be that angle that you know. Okay, so it's always the angle that's in between the two sides. Just be careful there. Okay, so again, if it's that angle, you need to know that side and that side there. So there we go. Let's do some examples. Really hard, really tough these ones, so just strap yourself in. Oh, they do get hard. Look, I'll stop being so facetious. Okay, so quick and easy first example, like this. So we'll go 6.2, 5.1, 72.8 degrees. Okay, so we're trying to find the area of this rectangle. So our area, should have done a hard one, this is a bit stupid, is half first length 6.2 times by the second length 5.1 times the sine of the angle in between them, so 72.8 degrees. Okay. Equals, again, bang it into your calculator. Do I even need to do it? Okay, 6.2, 5.1. So 7.5 times 6.2. I've got another ready, even though I've sort of said it out loud to try and memorize it. Times 5.1 times sine, can't remember what it was, 72.8. We're in degrees, so we're okay. Control, enter, 15.1. So our area of this is 15.1. Now, we haven't been given any lengths here. We don't know if that's 6.2 centimeters or whatever. What is it? So if we're not ever given the units, we just say it's 15.1 units. We're finding area here, so it's 15.1 units squared. That's the answer. Let's do something a bit more interesting. Okay. Quite often you'll be given triangles where you don't know stuff. Okay, so let's just say something like this, where you've got 9 centimeters, 7 centimeters, and 100 degrees in that angle in that corner. Okay, so let's have a look. What's the area of this triangle? Now, remember, to find the area, if we know an angle, then we must know this length here, because we need to surround it. So we need to know that length there. So, but we don't know it at the moment. We've got no way of finding out that angle or that angle. So we're sort of a bit stuck at this point. So we need to find out this length. How can we find that out? Well, could you use the sine rule or the cosine rule to figure out this length? Now think about it. Sine rule. When do you use the sine rule? You use the sine rule when you know 2 or more angles. So that's actually not going to help you in this situation. Can we use the cosine rule? Well, that's useful when you know one angle and you want to find a side length or something like that. So that sounds appropriate. So let's use the cosine rule. So we want to use this angle here as our main thing, and so this is sort of like the subject of the cosine rule, if you like, because it's opposite the angle we know. So here we go. First thing, so 9 squared, you should be good at this by now. 9 squared equals 7 squared plus x squared, we'll call this x, sorry, I'm a bit lazy, 7 squared plus x squared minus 2, gee that's a funny looking 2, thinking ahead, 2 times 7 times x times cosine 100 degrees. Okay, now this is a little bit horrible at this point to try and solve. Okay, so I wouldn't even try and do anything else on this except just type into your calculator, solve into your calculator. So let's go and do that now. 9 squared equals 7 squared plus x squared. So let's go menu, algebra, solve. Solve 9 squared equals, it was 9 wasn't it? So bad. 7 squared plus x squared, 7 squared plus x squared. You seem to forgive me because I'm trying to explain something. Okay? And this, what was it? 2 times 7, so I'll just put 14x. And it was cos 100. Cos. Oh, see, it's gone italic there. It doesn't understand it. So if it does that, see how that's a good sort of thing to recover. It doesn't know that there's little times in there. So if you go times, it should fix it up. Okay, so just be careful of things like that. Like these calculators, sometimes they do funny things. So usually, if it does something funny, something that does not right, there's usually it doesn't know that there should be a times in between two things. Okay, and we want to solve it, comma for x. So hit enter, and you get something horrible. I'll press Control Enter. And it will give you, now just go have a look at these answers. It's got, now what was x again? We were looking for a side length. So it's got -7 here. Can it be -7? Well, of course not. It's given us a negative answer and a positive answer. The reason for that is that because we've got a quadratic here essentially. We've got x squared minus 14x, plus that equals that. So it's a quadratic and it's given us two answers. One is reasonable, one is not. Okay, you can't have a negative length. So our answer is 4.57. So equals, therefore x equals 4.57, and we are in centimeters. So x is 4.57 centimeters. So we haven't finished the question yet. That was only to find out how long that side is. What we want is the area. Therefore, our area is equal to half. Length A is 7, length B there is 4.57 times the sine of the angle in between, 100 degrees. Again, into your calculator, here we go, equals half times 7 times 4.7, see if I can remember that. Half times 7 times 4.7, what was it? Well, it's right above me, 5.7. Times the sine of the angle in between. I'm pretty sure it was 100, but I just can't help but check. 100 equals, and we get 15.75. 15.75, and we had centimeters, so it's centimeters squared, and there is your answer. So just remember, when you're trying to solve them, it must be with wherever the angle is, it must be the two sides around it. Okay, so just be careful to do that. If you don't know the angle or you don't know the side lengths around it, then check, can I use the sine rule or the cosine rule to try to find those. You'll get some tricky ones where you might have to do a sine rule twice or a cosine rule twice or something to try and get yourself out of the sticky situation. But keep those in mind, they're very powerful, these two guys here. So do that and have fun. See ya.